The Flash, Season 6, Episode 8, titled The Last Temptation of Barry Allen Part 2, and this is a really good miniseries finale. I know next week, Episode 9 comes out, but technically this being, next week is Crisis, this week is technically the miniseries finale, and, this episode is pretty well done. This is really well handled. I mean, it has a sense of horror towards it. I mean, this episode is a zombie apocalypse episode. You know, Bloodwork has affected Central City, and including the Flash, and he's creating the zombie apocalypse kind of thing. And the moment it happens, you have this sense of Last of Us. You have a sense of maybe Resident Evil or The Walking Dead or any poster thing you want to slap in that's kind of zombie related. And it just works really, really well. And of course, you feel the expense of it. Not just because you understand the threat and how powerful Bloodwork is, but also the sense of the hero. Because you got Barry, who is affected by it. You know, last episode, Bloodwork made Barry one of the affected people. And you, in your head is like, in my mind, I'm like, Crisis in the context of the show, it's like only 2 hours away. How is this going to work? Like, in my head, I was, like, freaking out because I was thinking, there's crisis, and, you know, Barry's a zombie. Like, that's what my head was thinking, out through the episode. And what I love from this episode is also, there's a lot of character stuff in this. It's a lot of character stuff. Definitely when it comes to Iris and Cisco, because those two, like, Cisco's just like, we need to stop Bloodwork, and that's kind of it, and Barry was going to die in a couple hours or so anyway, so, you know, and he's kind of preparing us to do it, pretty much. He's preparing us to do it without him around, so this is good practice in a way. And Iris is like, no, the man I married is still in there, and I'm going to break it into it. He's still in there, I know it, and there's some really good emotional parts because of that. And for the action wise, if you're, you know, a person who's just there for the action, there's some decent action. Definitely around the end when, spoiler, Bloodwork turns into this giant monster and Barry has to fight him. And I'm like, for a CW budget, which is probably kind of standard, and they're probably not going to have that much of a budget for, like, I don't know, next week's episode, because of, you know, crossovers and all that. It's the design and the effects, and, you know, it's shot in dark, so they can hide maybe how cruddy the effects are, but it's really well done. It's really well done. The action scene is pretty well done. For Bloodwork to be done by this episode, just have a feeling for it. But turns out he's still around. He's still in the whole thing of, you know, when I get out here mindset. Yeah, this is really good. This is a really good episode. I love the last 5 minutes. I love the last 5 minutes with Iris and Cisco and Caitlin and Joe and Seal all going and having a conversation with Barry and talking about how important he is to them, and before whatever happens, remember your love. And even Iris is saying, like, even if you die or you vanish, our love will still be, our love will never end. And I'm like, oh, the feels, I was getting a bit of a tear. And then, of course, they hint Crisis, like, Crisis has begun. And I got goosebumps, because Crisis in the comics is kind of is the first big DC crossover in the comics, and them basing it on it, knowing what happens in the comics, and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to hear my thoughts about the end scene, I talked about it on Batwoman and Supergirl. So if you want to hear that, but yeah, I mean, you're getting this. I mean, hell, this crossover, we're getting the return of John Wesley Shipp as the original Flash from the 90s show. Tom Welling's coming back as Clark Kent from Smallville. Kevin Conroy is going to is playing Batman for the first time in live action, because he's been the affiliate voice for Batman for a lot of people, including myself, since Batman the Animated Series in '92. And you got Brendan Routh coming back as Superman, but this guy, he's playing the Kingdom Come version of Superman. But he's come back as Superman, which he once played in Superman Returns. So worlds will live, worlds will die, and the DC universe will never be the same.